What's going on, gang? I know it's been a couple of days. Your boy Robbie, we back for the react. What's going on with y'all? Sorry I took a couple of days off. I had my son with me yesterday, so I couldn't really do too much reacting. I was going to react while he was asleep or whatever, but it was like, I'll just wait till, I drop him back off. But we back. This one's going to be coming from Antonio Talks, the art of selling to Black America. We all know when it comes to, us as Black people, we always being sold something. And then when we do buy it, we make that look good. You feel me? But I guess it's come to a head point. You know what I'm saying? So let's not waste no time. Let's see what the brother's talking about. Let's get to this video.
So a few days ago, I found a video that was very interesting. It was of the salesman explaining how to sell to different races, white, Asian, and Black. Now, when he got to Black people and explained the tactics that he used when he was selling to Black people, it was intriguing.
This is how to sell to every single different type of race in direct sales. So direct Zoom calls is my expertise. That's what I've been doing for the last 3 years. The way that you sell to white people is a large level of trust, establish credibility, show proof that your product actually works, listen to all of their problems, just sit, listen to their problems, and then tell them why your product is amazing and why we've helped X, Y, and Z exact person in your position go from A to B, just like you want to. That goes for every client, but specifically for white people, they want people to listen to their woes, their problems, their worries. They want people to be exactly like them as well. They want to buy from people that are like them. So if they're liberal, be liberal. If they're right wing, be right wing. That's what they want. How to sell to Black people? Again, from my experience, you need to hype them up. You need to feed their ego. You need to talk about entrepreneurship. You need to talk about family legacy. You need to talk about generational wealth. You need to talk about passive income.
He hitting on all of the points that
he's hitting on all cylinders. I'm not gonna lie, because all on my timeline, whether it's Instagram or TikTok, you always hear that generational wealth, passive income, having multiple streams of income. That's something that is heavily pushed in Black culture. I agree. He's cooking with that one.
a lot of Black people love to hear, right?
Yeah.
Passive income, generational wealth.
All these entrepreneurial things and really make them feel as though they understand things and make them build them up.
Oh, whoa. He said, make them feel like they understand. So not give them an understanding of it. Kind of treating us like kids. Now, he went on to do different races such as Asian and Indian, but I just wanted to focus on the Black people. Once again, he said a lot of things that Black people like to hear. Generational wealth, passive income, making us feel like we understand, kind of treating us like a kid. And this reminds me of a video that was made in, I believe, the 1940s or 50s, where it was the art of selling to the Negro. So we're not going to watch all of it, but this was the secret of selling to the Negro, made back in 1954. The average Negro wage earner today gets 4 times more money than a few years ago. The Secretary of Commerce of the United States said today, his income has increased more rapidly than his income of all other Americans. The Commerce Secretary said, he pointed out the family income of the Negro is today at a record high. That's one thing too, a lot of them, they may not like you, but they like your money. So they gonna do what they do to get that money, right?
Yes, this is the market we're talking about, the new Negro family. Their name is Wells or Wilson, Smith or...
The fact that they was just using that word so openly back then, Negro, you know what I'm saying? It just goes to show you that back then anything went. You couldn't do that today, but back then, it's it's okay, you can say that word,
Brown or Alexander or Breen.
And to think that this wasn't even that long ago. It wasn't like this was a century ago. This was just a couple years ago, a couple decades, not a whole century though.
They live in Chicago, in Atlanta or New York, in Detroit, St. Louis, Los Angeles, any one of 1,000 cities and towns. All over the country, families such as this are enjoying new prosperity. They have new interests, new standards of living, a buying power they've never enjoyed before. They're good prospects for practically all types of goods and services.
But they is funny because this is a real thing, and these folks talking about us like we some variant of a human. We're
All too often, though, they're overlooked prospects. Why? Because of some good, valid reason? No. They're overlooked because of mistaken ideas, because of out-of-date ideas about how the Negro lives and how he buys. The truth of the matter is that the Negro lives pretty much the same as other folks. He buys pretty much the same way, too. But just the same, a lot of old doubts and opinions keep cropping up over and over again.
I don't like to do business with Negroes. They're drifters. You can't keep track of them.
Yes, although a lot of people think that way, the truth is that 1 out of every 3 Negro families living in cities today owns its own home. That figure comes directly from the United States Bureau of Census.
Maybe so, but Negroes are poor credit risks.
Not more of a credit risk than any other group. Actually, the Negro home buyer meets his payments faithfully, often more faithfully than other race groups in the same economic level. That's the information we got from people who ought to know, the National Association of Real Estate Boards.
I love this because this is literally how they think about us. But when we are given the same resources and opportunities, you see how we were easily able to thrive.
The secret of selling to the Negro is expressed in one word. That word is recognition. Now, there's nothing unusual about that. People want to be recognized. They need recognition. That's basic in all of us. But perhaps because he's had so little of it, the Negro needs even more. He needs to feel important and appreciated. This need is a very real and important one. It shows up even in many of the Negro's shopping habits. Anyone who sells or wants to sell to the Negro customer should know about some of these habits. 3 habits in particular play a big part in every sales transaction.
Yeah.
To begin with, most Negroes buy by brand. They ask for products by name.
This is in 1954. 2026, same thing. Black people, we got to have the name brand. We got to have the designer. We got to have the Mercedes. We got to have the hip. We got to have these products with the name fancy brand so people know or think that we have money. Obviously, it don't apply to all people, but I'm talking to my black folks, and it's something that we see within the community.
Right. And what's so crazy about that is they say we have buying power that's in the trillions. Well, here you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is why these companies make a lot of money, because we spend money. They'll tell you that, oh, you need to be more conservative and you need to preserve. That's the word. You need to preserve your funds and stuff like that and refrain from buying things that you don't necessarily need. Well, that's not going to help the people that are shareholders. That's not going to help their bottom line. Point I'm making is you need people such as us and the likes, but mainly us, because that's what this video is centered around. You mainly need black people to continue to be consumers, because consumerism is what drives this economy. This is why the likes of Apple and Tesla and Nike and all these different companies make money, and you on the back end as a shareholder can make money as well, because people are buying it. If black people were to just all of a sudden just stop buying stuff, that wouldn't help the economy. They would panic. Like, oh, they're not buying anything. Why aren't black people buying anything anymore? Well, we just don't want to. Yeah, that wouldn't fare over well. You know what I'm saying?
I was once a product of this. I thought I got to have all the designer, right? You know what I'm saying? Something that I'm glad I've grown out of pretty fast.
They're quick to turn down off-brands. You see, for a long time, the Negro has been sold a lot of shoddy, second-class merchandise. So now he asks for name brands in order to make sure he gets his money's worth. Buying by brand, that's the first important Negro buying habit. Now for the second. The Negro buys good quality merchandise. Symbols of quality and prestige are very important to the Negro customer. This woman, for example, is buying fine crystalware, but she is also buying the admiration and approval of her friends and relatives. It's a well-known fact that many Negro customers are influenced by the opinions of others. What their friends may think of a certain item often decides whether or not the sale is made.
Just go back to us growing up in school, right? From my experience, if a person had on some fucking Shacks, you know what I'm saying, or some other type of shoe, people would make fun of him. If their shoes or forces or something were beat up, they had the creases in them, people would get made fun of for that. And that is something that you pretty much only see in our community. Because let's say for the white people, white community, they be wearing some of the most worn down shoes ever, bro.
Man, let me tell you something. You ever catch a Caucasian woman or girl on a good day? Best believe her Air Force Ones, her white Air Force Ones are being choked to death, and they done been through the mud. They done been through hell and back, but she don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it so many times, but they can do that. And the white guys too. You know what I'm saying? They beat their clothes down to an oblivion, but that's not their focus. But yeah, growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, yeah, you really had to be, and I'm speaking as a black man, being a black teenager, a black boy in the hood. Yeah, you had to be on point. You had to have Jordans. You had to have Nikes, Adidas. Like, your clothes had to be name brand. You couldn't be coming in there with Shaqs or no Airwalks or nothing like that, because you were going to get picked on. You know what I'm saying? You were. You'd just be better off wearing uniform if you went to Catholic school. I did go to Catholic school, so we wore uniform. But on days where we get to dress down, you got to come with your best fit. You know what I'm saying? So that is true.
Well, I mean, especially some of the white girls, bro. They forces be creased out, messed up, busted up, but they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They parents got them a little trust fund. They could care less about that type of stuff. Now, you could point this down to us, you know, just being presentable. Like, you know, we like to have our stuff looking fresh. We like to have our stuff looking nice. But then again, it's on some materialistic shit. Like, we are worth what our clothes are. You know what I'm saying? When it shouldn't be like that. And like I say, always let's go against consumerism. Let's not care about it as much.
So remember, the Negro buys quality merchandise. That's the second important point. And here's the third thing to remember when selling to a Negro customer. When he specifically asks for one thing, don't try to sell him something else. Don't try to switch him at the point of sale. If you do, he'll probably react something like this.
Doesn't he think I've got the money to pay for it?
There's a reason for this reaction. Again, because he's had experience with cheap merchandise, the Negro resents being offered a substitute.
Bro, this video is crazy, man, because even I'm hopefully I find an example, but it was a video of this lady, this black lady who was being profiled in the store, designer store, I think, and her way of getting back at them was to buy a whole bunch of stuff out the store. She showed them, y'all.
The Negro buys by brand, he buys quality, and he doesn't like to be switched at point of sale. These are the keys to selling the Negro customer.
Now, y'all, we're going to have a little yap session. But I want to say, I'm at the point of, like, I'm tired of the complaining. I'm tired of the bitching. We keep seeing examples of how anti-black this world is and how these people don't like us. Now it's time to get on code. So with that being said, in my mind, the plan is simple. All the time, I tell y'all, man, we got to have solidarity. Love one and each another at the fullest extent. Support one and each another at the fullest extent. Now, I know that we cannot shop at primarily black-owned businesses because there isn't that many. A stat that has really been bothering me lately, y'all. Black-owned businesses in America make up only 3% of the population, despite us being 13 to 14% of the U.S. population. Now, white people in the U.S., they make up, I think, around 56%, but they own around, what, like 80 to 90% of the...
I mean, that would make sense, and I'm not justifying it, but, I mean, we are outnumbered here. And the likelihood of people that are non-black buying black products or business buying things that were sold by black, it's not likely. You know what I'm saying? They are going to be quicker to shop with a brand that they are familiar with. Your Targets, your Walmarts, TJ Maxx, Kohl's, they're going to shop there first. Another thing we have to also keep in mind, we don't have any warehouses. We don't have any connections to these other countries where these goods are made. They're not willing to do business with us in that way. You know what I mean? Because there's going to be some conversation or it's going to get out that, hey, they're over there doing this. So they're going to find a way to try to infiltrate that, come out with some tax or law, something to just throw a juggernaut or wrench in the operation. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, for me and my people, we have been the guinea pigs of this reality or society, if you will. And it's not right because it should be an even playing field. You know what I mean? It should be. But, you know.
Businesses. Now, this is the one that really it's interesting to me. Asians, they make up a very small percent, like 6%, but they own 10% of the businesses in the United States.
Oh, well, we already know where most of those businesses are, and I'm pretty sure Antonio's going to say it, but you drive around black neighborhoods, you've got the beauty supply store, you've got the nail salon, you've got the Chinese spot, the buffets. They have those three businesses. I've said this in one of my other videos. If you was to take 4 children, a white boy, a black boy, an Indian, and a Chinese, and Oriental, whatever, Asian, and put them on a corner, each and every one of those kids can point out what business their father owns. The white boy's father, he's operating and controlling the banks. The Indians, they got the gas stations, okay? The Asian, they got the beauty supply store, nail salon, Chinese spot. When you get to that black boy, he can't point out what business his father owns. He might have a table set up selling incense or perfume or something like that, or some rugs or something like that, but nothing that will move the needle. You know what I'm saying? That will generate generational wealth, as they like to say nowadays. So that's really the dynamic we're dealing with. And mind you, the money that these Asians make, and again, I'm not prejudiced or racist, but let's be real, that money does not circulate in our neighborhood for the most part. That money is sent out, but it was our money. You know what I mean? So that's the dynamic we're dealing with.
In my opinion, black Americans should own at least 10%, y'all. 10% of businesses. And obviously, all of this is not on us through things such as slavery, Jim Crow, black codes, redlining, mass incarceration.
You see, here's the problem with that too. See, not to say that white people don't buy from each other, but white people are less likely to buy things that they don't need. They're not consumers in that way. White people consume things out of necessity, like food, shelter, things like that. Like they'll wear clothes until they're damn near holes in the shoes and stuff like that. They're not really on it like that. There are some, but the vast majority of them are not on that. They know that in order to fuel this economy and to make a lot of money or to keep, we have to be walking billboards. And they know the only people that they can get to program that way is black people, because we care so much about how we look. You know what I mean? We care so much about what we're driving, where we're living. Well, a lot of us don't really care where we live in, but we do a lot of times care about what we driving. So that's the dynamic. White people can't really sell to their own kind in that fashion, in my opinion, because I know somebody's going to clap me in these comments or whatever and say something smart. I'm going to check that right now. Everything that I'm saying is opinion-based, okay? Let's continue.
Right? We all know the history. That is why in 2026 was the tragic killing of Cyrus Bell, and I am glad that we are doing a boycott. Even though it's not a boycott, we should just be shopping with our own anyway. But once again, I'm going to state it again. We make up 14% of the population, but we only own 3% of the businesses. How? That is crazy to me. Y'all don't see anything wrong with that. That is why I am very big on supporting black businesses. I try to support black business on my profile as much as I can. I try to shop at least 3 black-owned businesses every month, and I'm going to keep getting that number higher and higher. So listen, all my black people, all my black Americans, lock in. I want to end this off with this video right here, because with us, boycotting these other businesses and only supporting black people, a lot of these folks are mad and they starting to move weird. And it's just funny because, once again,
I already know that.
What is the problem with wanting to support our people? What is the problem with that? It's not like we're saying you shouldn't have any business. We just want to put our money into black people.
You know why? Because that is going to affect their bottom line. You don't have the right or the permission to shop with your own kind. You shop with me, okay? You are my customer. You are not a customer of your own kind. That's the sentiment. They don't want you shopping with your own because it affects their pockets. They need you to continue to shop with them so that they can send their money off. I'm telling you, I said this in my other video. If African-American people were to one day suddenly say, you know what, we're leaving America, we're not shopping, it would be bloodshed. They would not let that go down without a fight. And it'll be a fight to the end. It'll be a fight it'll be life or death. Okay? It'll never, and I know some people say, oh, that sounds crazy. No, for real. That's really what it would come to. They would not let us just uproot like that, just willy-nilly. There will be some sort of, there's already operation waiting in the abyss should we even decide, look, we're leaving?
People's pockets. So I want to show you some weird activities I seen right here.
Hey y'all, so today at the head district, we got paid a little visit from this cat right here. He told me his name was Mike and he was the owner of Beauty Palace in the East on Diamond Road. So I thought that was a little funny because we way on the west side and we deep off in Marrero, and he supposedly came here for one bottle of Camille Rose. But I was in the back and the girl started paging me saying that we had somebody here walking up and down each aisle on FaceTime talking about all our prices. I said, on FaceTime you show? So yeah, sure as shit stank. The boy was walking around here on FaceTime showing all our prices and stuff like that. So of course I come out the back, I approach him and I ask him if he need help with anything. Immediately he jumps into, hey, did the vendors in this area open these accounts for you, or are you getting this shipped from your friends that you know? I'm like, what does that got to do with you? Like, why are you worried about that? I want to know, did they open for you? Well, that ain't none of your business, bro. That ain't none of your business. So I politely asked Mr. Mike, hey, bro, come up out of my stuff, get up out of my stove, walked him out the door. So if y'all do me a favor and tell Mr. Mike, leave our vendors alone in this area and leave us alone, Mr. Mike. It was already hard enough as it is to get these vendors and get these accounts open.
So that video alone just shows me that they see what we could be. They see that us unifying and supporting each other, which is not crazy at all, gets them kind of upset and gets them worrying. So to all my people out there, if you got a business that you want to start, do it. Especially if it can add value to your community. But listen, man, black people, wake up. Black-owned businesses are so easy to find nowadays. You can literally look on TikTok. You want to find a hair store in your area, type in hair store, city, state, black-owned, like anything. You know what I'm saying? You can find them out here, dog. Let's stop keeping up with the Joneses. Let's stop supporting all these big name brands that don't really fuck with us. If you can find a black-owned alternative, do it. I know in 2026, this economy is hard, but if you lock in and you stay down for 6 months, stay down for a year, don't buy no new clothes, you got enough. Don't buy no new shoes, you got plenty. Don't go buy that new iPhone. And if you're in a relationship, let me give you a better strategy, right? If two of y'all working full time, use one of y'all checks to pay all the bills, groceries, etc., and then the other one, save it. And to better that, goddamn, cut that in half, that savings in half, and invest that other half of that saving. Find you some little land you could buy, right? Let's start leaving stuff down to the next generation. We can do it, y'all. I promise you, man. No more talking. If y'all want to see something similar to this, check out Low Vibrational Music.
Yo, shout out to Antonio, man. He's really out here trying to, change the people, change our mindset. So shout out to him for really trying to shift our mindset. Can't be mad at the brother. But yeah, it's definitely going to come to a head point where it's like, okay, we are going to have to start doing for self, because as we clearly can see, this country, unbeknownst to a lot of people, it is collapsing. And all this country has done for the past 250 years is breed a bunch of dependents. They're saying that, AI is taking over and all these corporations don't want to hire people and you got to fend for yourself. You got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and nobody owes you anything, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that's what the conservatives say. Fair enough. But now when we look at the entire school system and what it's done, it hasn't taught us how to grow our own food, how to generate our own electricity, how to make our own clothes, build our own homes and stuff like that. All they've done is just fill our heads with a bunch of historic slop that doesn't translate to survival today. You know what I mean? So for people to have the nerve to say that, you got to figure it out and all of that, figure what out? I've been depending on my white daddy this whole entire time in order to survive, because he created this dynamic, this system. And he unfortunately didn't think, and I'm not saying white dad like that because I'm just making an expression. I don't want nobody to misconstrue what I'm saying or clip this up and say, I'm just making a point. I'm being funny for real. But you created this system and you didn't think to yourself, long term, will there be enough jobs for all the millions of people that are living in this country? No, the hell it's not. And so it's going to get to a point where unless school is actually teaching you survival tactics, how to grow your own food and how to make clothes, like get back to the whole workshops and trades and stuff like that, school is going to essentially be a waste of time, okay? Because artificial intelligence is here and it's not going anywhere. You feel me? So yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think. If y'all made it this far, I appreciate you. Make sure you chin check the like button. Make sure you sub to the channel and sound off in the comments section until they kick your asses out. That being said, it's your boy Robbie. Till the next video, we gone.